setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
And welcome to the WBT. This is Mike Lodge. I'm glad you have joined me. It's a beautiful day out. Blue skies. A little bit windy. The trees are brushing up against my windows. It's how hard it's blowing, but I'll accept it. So our conversation today is planning on a quarterly basis for your business. Everybody should do it. Everybody should do it, has to do it, must do it. I'll be right back.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
Yesterday, I skipped doing the podcast because I was just so busy. From the morning I got up at 5 a.m. until the time I sat down and to rest, which was about 7 p.m. that night, I said, you know what, I'm not going to do a podcast. I am just too worn out, and I'll sound like I've been sleeping. So I decided not to do that. But today, on one of my vlogs, I put out a vlog on TikTok and Instagram and a whole bunch of different other social media, and I was talking about individuals. I'll just mention this before I get into my main theme, but I was talking about individuals who have a small business, okay, and they have been running at a loss for several years. Every year they have a loss. Which reduces their taxable income on their personal income tax return. Well, I have to give you a warning here, because if you have too many losses over too many years, the IRS will probably pull your Schedule C and say, are you really operating your business as a business, or are you operating it just as a tax loss? In other words, the IRS wants to see you actually participating in the business, trying to grow the business, trying to make it stronger. But if you don't do it, they could label it as a hobby, because you're really not making any money, and you haven't for years. And then what happens? It all gets put onto your personal income tax and gets deducted out, and you've lost all of those expenses, all of those deductions, and you're going to owe money. Penalties and interest and everything else. You don't want that to happen, so you have got to start really thinking about how you are managing and operating your business, and are you really a business? Or do you want to take the risk and have the IRS come in and say, hey, too many losses over too many years, you are a hobby, bye-bye. When you can no longer deduct that. And we're going to assess you on prior years. So I want you to really think about that, because I see too many people coming into my office where they just love that tax loss. They want it to be a tax loss. But listen, it's catching up to a lot of people, because no longer are they really examining or auditing Schedule A for itemized deductions, because there's hardly anything there anymore. What they're looking at now is the Schedule C if you're self-employed. Is it really an operating business? So you ask yourself this tax season, do I really want to take that chance? And do I really want to have a business that's operating a loss like that? Is something going wrong? What is going wrong so badly that you cannot take that as a real business? So, sorry about that. My dogs were acting up. They're here in my office with me, and all of a sudden they decided to play. I should tell them all to get out, but they're really cool dogs. So, every business, I do it, and everyone else should do it. Even if how small you are, you should be looking at your quarterly operating results and then start planning for your next quarter and the next quarter after that. So what do you look at? Well, most successful business owners set aside time every single quarter to plan out their goals and action steps for the upcoming quarter. Not only does this allow you to focus your energy and attention on the things that propel your company forward, but it will also help you strategize the best way to leverage your team, your employees, to reach your goals. So I want today to talk about the way that you, as a business owner, strategize to reach your company goals each quarter, and share with you. And I also want to share with you some of the tips and tricks that I use, okay, and that I've learned over the course of the years in working with companies on strategizing and planning and budgeting and everything else. Number one is find your key strengths. The best strategies have three things in common, and you want to look at them. You want to look at them each in their own light before proceeding with the chosen strategy. The first thing you want to look at is a strategy founded on one or more of your key business strengths. Odds are that you will only be successful if your strategy relies on things that you are already very good at. So make sure you review your strategy and ask the key questions in order for this strategy to work. What are the strategies on which we must rely? That's the question. If in order for your strategy to work, you've got to rely on something that isn't a strength of yours, and you can't buy, build, or otherwise acquire this strength, then I strongly advise you to pick another strategy. Just as the best athletes play to their strengths, so do the most successful companies play to their best abilities. I've always said one thing, and I said, and it has kind of been a motto with me in my firm, and it's focus on your strength and hire somebody to focus on your weaknesses, because you don't want to be sitting there not focused on your weaknesses. You don't want to focus on your weaknesses. You know what your strengths are, so you better focus on what they are, and let somebody else that has the ability to look at compliance issues, tax issues, strategy, budgeting, everything like that. Hire somebody that has those strengths. The other issue is that you have to seize the opportunities. Second, the best strategy sees one of your biggest opportunities and you play into it. Seizing a key opportunity is the offense that lets you score big points and win that game that you're playing. This must be investing heavily into a specific product or service line or market niche or delivery strategy. This is the concept of feeding your winners and starving your lowers. The key is that any winning strategy must help you seize a key opportunity that has the real potential potential to yield big results. And that's what you're looking for, are results, big results. And then you have to mitigate your business threats. Third, the best strategies mitigate or take irrelevant your gravest business threats. For example, if one of your biggest threats is that 58% of your business is with one customer, then if your strategy fits for criteria 1 and 2, ideally it will help you grow other customer relationships so that you have some protection from the loss or diminishment of this Goliath customer. this is perhaps one of the hardest areas for many business owners to look at, because we don't want to recognize our flaws or our shortcomings. But by identifying our weak points, we can then form a strategize to overcome them or mitigate their impact on our growth. I'm always concerned when a company may have one or two big clients, and that is the main thrust of their revenue stream. You need to be very diverse, and you need to go out there and find those other revenue streams that are going to complement in case one of those two, you Goliaths, we want to call them, goes bad. And I'm speaking from experience here. When I had a healthcare staffing company, we had really one large client. We had a client that had 57 skilled nursing facilities and long-term care facilities that covered from Southern California all the way up to Northern California. And we provide all of the nursing staff and all of the medical staff for these facilities, and it was a full-time job. And then we had some minor clients that we serviced also, surgery centers in places like that. But the problem is we relied upon this one Goliath client, and we should have been going out and finding more clients. The problem is this Goliath client all of a sudden one day went into BK. And the BK trustee came in and began selling off all of the facilities. We lost all of our nurses. We lost all of our contracts with all of these facilities. And we lost about $500,000. So I learned the hard way that you cannot rely and focus on one Goliath, because it can ruin you very quickly. Now, it hurt us, but we bounced back, and then we started filling in more skilled nursing facilities from other companies, surgery centers, clinics, anywhere that we could get our feet into, we got in there, and we began to build that company back up. But that was a big shock to lose that $500,000, and there was no way I was going to get it back. And we had known these people for ages, for a long, long time. So it was our fault because, well, it was my fault because I was the CEO. I should have been looking at other possibilities. So as you plan out your year or quarter, look at your strengths, your weaknesses, and opportunities, and lay out a focused plan to achieve your goals and reach the next level within your business. There's a lot of opportunity out there, but you have to take the time to build it. That's why I've told everybody this year, let's build something, let's build something. Let's not tear something down, let's build something. Right now we have a good economic stream. Now it could change, if the Democrats get in. My forecast is that we will have a downward economy and we'll go into a recession or even a depression because there's no more confidence. We don't know what tax issues are coming on board. We don't know what mandates are going to be pushed upon us. We don't know anything. But right now, we have a good, confident economy, and we need to keep going with that. Cross fingers, cross toes, everything else. Listen, if you have any questions or you need help in strategizing, send me a text at 818-252-5682. Again, it's 818-252-5682. And let's build something. This is Mike Lodge. I'll talk with you soon.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com. and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This podcast has been produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content.